Hi, this is Tom Soane and welcome to another episode of The Anonymous Landlord, a drive-by episode of The Anonymous Landlord, because as always, these are the things that I think about on the way to the office. And this morning, I was thinking about landlords that have equity in their investment properties. And by the way, if you are a landlord and you own a property, then you are an investor. And start calling yourself an investor. Start thinking of yourself as an investor, and start thinking like an investor, because you can make a bit more money than perhaps you might realize, and a bit more profit than you might realize, and that's okay to do so. I'm a massive believer in everybody being entitled to make profit. I think it's our right, and as long as we do it in an honest and legitimate way, then absolutely make as much profit as possible from your investments. And because that's why you invest, right? And it doesn't matter whether you're an accidental landlord, or you've just inherited property, or perhaps you've married and both of you have moved into one property, something like that. It doesn't matter. If you have a property that is not your main residence and you rent it out, then you are an investor, and be proud of that as well. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how you can maximize your profits, how you can optimize the growth of your investment and increase your profits through property. And if you've got a property right now that has equity in that property, then you already know that you do have the option of refinancing or remortgaging that property to try and bring some of the equity out, so that you may be able to reinvest it, you may be able to do something with it. We all know that, I hope. But there's a few ways that you can do this, and a few different options for you on how you can use that equity to grow. And first of all, what I would say is there's a bit of a misconception that you should always pay off your mortgage. You should keep paying it off so that you own that house outright, or it's an unencumbered property. That's the general term for it. But yeah, okay, that's a fair way of thinking. However, I would disagree with that. That's me personally. I would disagree. I think actually what you should do is leverage the bank's money in order for you to make profit, and then continue to leverage the bank's money in order for you to make more profit. Let me try and explain this as best I can. If you've got a property that's worth £100,000 right now, and you've paid off that mortgage, you therefore have £100,000 of equity in that property. Hopefully you all agree with that. And yes, that means you don't have to pay any mortgage payments, and that £650 a month that comes into your bank is all profit, and then you obviously pay your management fee, maintenance and insurance. So you're pretty much going to end up with, let's just say, 550 quid in your bank each month. Nice. Now, if you took a mortgage on that same property, you could withdraw up to £75,000, and you would then have £75,000 in your bank, but you're going to pay a mortgage. And the mortgage on a 75 grand, and the mortgage payments on a 75 grand mortgage are going to be something like, I don't know, 250 quid a month or whatever. Then you add your management and maintenance, you're probably spending out another 100 quid. So your outgoings on that property are going to be about 350 quid. However, your rent is 650 quid. So whereas before you were making 500 quid net profit on a property that didn't have a mortgage, you've now got a mortgage and you're making about 300 quid per month profit. Less money? Yes. No. It's actually more money, because you now have 75 grand in your bank and you're getting £300 per month, which means you could probably buy that same £100,000 property 2 times at least. So now you could have 3 properties All of them £100,000 each, all of them generating £650 a month, all of them making you £300 a month profit. And now what you're left with is £900 net profit rather than your £500 that you were getting before. And you've spread your risk across 3 properties, and you stand to benefit from 3 properties that can grow in value, and you're not using all of your cash in one property. Because that's another thing I think people miss. If you've got a house that's worth £100,000 and you haven't got a mortgage on it, well, that is £100,000 of your cash that's in that property. Because at any one time you could sell that house and have that £100,000 in your pocket, but you're not doing that. You're choosing to leave that £100,000 in the property. So therefore that's your cash. You could have that any time. It's like saying that you've got £100,000 in your bank account. Just because you haven't withdrawn it and it's not in your pocket as £20 notes, then it's still your cash. It's still in that account. Well, your property is just another account. So try to think of it like that. If you've got equity in your home, all right, I've been extreme there and I've said £100,000 all with equity. Most people would have, say, I don't know, if you've got a house that's worth £100,000 and you may well have £50,000 of equity in that property. Well, to me, you could buy 1, maybe 2 additional properties with that, and the same rule still applies. You can make more profit per month. You can make spread your risk more, because think about it. If you've got 1 property and that tenant leaves, that's all of your income stopped until you get a new tenant in that property. If you've got 3 properties and one of your tenant leaves, you still have income from the other 2 properties. So if you're a landlord and you have equity in your property, then have a look into what options you have with refinancing that property. And by the way, my mortgage broker specializes in investment mortgages only, buy-to-let mortgages with specialist lenders, with specialist rates, and so on and so on and so on. So if you want me to connect you up with my mortgage broker, I don't charge for that. I just do it for free, just to help people along. So give me an email, give me a message through Facebook or something like that, and I'll just link you up with my mortgage broker. By the way, my mortgage broker has got 30 something properties himself, so he's very experienced and only works on investment mortgages too. So definitely a good mortgage broker to work with if you're a landlord or a property investor. Anyway, sounded like a bit of a sales pitch there, but I'm not getting, you don't pay me for it, but I was giving you a sales pitch. Anyway, so yeah, give us a shout if you want me to link you up with my mortgage broker. More than happy to do that. But back to the original point, find out your options for remortgaging that property to release some cash. And then if you want, you can book a discovery call with me and we can talk about what your options might be with regards to reinvesting that money. I can help you find really good property investment deals, because as you all know, I'm a property broker as well. Again, you don't pay me for that. If I introduce you to a property, I do get a little introduction fee from the agent, but you know, nothing to do with you. It's not anything dramatic. It's just a little bit of a referral fee, so to speak, which everyone's entitled to. But what I would say is that I will help you find really good property investment deals if you've got equity in your property. So let's talk about that. Book in a discovery call with me and we'll work out a good strategy for your property, depending on how much equity you have in it. And look, that's about it. If you also want to talk about other property investment strategies, then more than happy to do that too. Just again, book a discovery call. That could lead on to more and better things for you. Maybe I'll give you some ideas that you hadn't previously thought of. But one way or another, if you've got equity in your home, start thinking about how you can use that equity to grow your income, grow your cash flow, grow your future pension pot from that property or those properties that you have. If you're doing that to provide for your children in the future, that's what I'm doing, of course. But I'm also looking at cash flow now. There has to be a good balance. I've got cash flow coming in now, and I'm building a portfolio so that my kids have got some sort of security in wealth to fall back on in the future. So I think that's a good thing. Everybody's got their own motivators for investing and building their wealth, and hopefully we can all work together on that. Anyway, I'll leave it at that, and I hope you found that useful. I'm just parking, as you can hear. Just gonna get into the office, do some work, see if I can do some deals. Hope everyone has a great day, and remember, your property is something that should make profit without you. Be anonymous. Speak to you all later.